Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Real Talk. I'm your host, Pat Brock, and we've got some beautiful ladies in the studio with us, the Dublin High School cheerleaders, and we've got their cheer coach with us, Miss Janica Harris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. Thank you for coming and bringing these beautiful girls with you today.
No problem.
Now, Janica, tell us now, when you got started, of course, you were a cheerleader. Tell us about your experience as a cheerleader and how it is for you now as a coach.
Well, when I was a cheerleader, I'm from what they call the Susan Gay days, where it was no nonsense cheering and cheerleaders had to be on the up and up, and the first ones there at the game, the last ones to leave the game. So it's a little bit different times for girls, so I have to kind of take that into consideration and know that the rules are going to have to be adjusted just a little bit, but we still want cheerleaders to be those good role models in the schools and in the communities.
Absolutely. I remember Miss Gay, and I remember how tough she was with those girls, and of course your sister cheered back then too.
Yes.
Years ago. Now tell us about your cheer squad and of course the different cheerleaders that you have, okay?
We actually have 3 squads at Dublin High School. We have a varsity football. There are 18 girls on that squad. We have a varsity basketball. There are 15 girls on that squad. And we have a junior varsity basketball, and there are 8 girls on that squad.
That's a lot of ladies.
Lots.
And it takes a lot for you to have to juggle that and kind of work with these girls. What things do you work on with them to get them to be in the tip-top shape that they're in and to be able to produce what they do at each game?
Most of the girls have cheered since middle school, so they pretty much know cheer technique and how to learn the cheers. Even if they didn't cheer, many of them were on the dance team in middle school, so they know about being a part of an organized sport and following rules and getting along with the team. So what I'm focusing on more is just making sure that they have good morals and ethics, keeping up with their academics, being a role model for other students in the school, and just having fun and letting them know that high school only comes around once, and once it's gone, all they'll have are the great memories that they make.
That is so right. And of course, when you're at a basketball game, I mean, you want the cheerleaders to get pumped. I mean, they are the motivators.
Right.
They are the motivators. And so what things have you seen change in cheer when you cheered and to where you are today?
I think the biggest change for me in basketball is there's a lot more stomping and a lot more rhythm than when I was in high school. I could get away with not having the most rhythm and still being a cheerleader, but nowadays it's a competitive sport. We have lots of girls to try out, some that don't make it, but it's the top of the top that do make the squad. In football, I think just the large number of football cheerleaders that we have has changed. We never had that many cheerleaders when I was in high school, but they're more athletic girls these days. They're faster, they're taller, they're stronger, so more of them are capable of being on the squad.
And there's another thing that I noticed too is where back in the 80s, cheerleaders weren't necessarily athletes as far as playing basketball and running track. And I remember one girl, Stephanie, was a cheerleader and a basketball player. We thought that was outrageous. And so now you see a lot of dual athletes and doing both. And there's so many things else too, things that we also notice different. Even the pom-poms are a different size. I remember they used to be huge.
Yes, like 3 times the size.
3 times the
and
size.
Now they're more just of hand pumps because it's more about the motions and the jumps have changed. They've gotten higher. The tumbling has gotten more advanced. Back in my day, standing back handspring was something to be proud of, but now these girls are doing standing back tucks, they're doing running, multiple flips, so it's definitely a more competitive sport and a more athletic sport than it has been.
And so you guys are not doing competition this year?
We are not doing competition this year. We didn't have enough girls that were interested in competition, but next year I've already gotten girls that are interested in doing competition. So we're going to start conditioning and getting ready for competition next year. So those people that are in our region, Dublin's coming back to competition. So I know y'all have had it easy with them not competing, but they're definitely wanting to get back into the competitive spirit.
Very good. So now we're going to get a chance to meet some of these young ladies.
Yes, ma'am.
that you've been coaching. Thank you so much for everything that you do.
Thank you.
This is Miss Janica Harris, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks. Thank you. Well, hi.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good.
Now listen, tell us about you and tell us about how long you've been cheering and if you participate in any other things outside of cheerleading.
My name is Martasia Linder. I've played basketball for 2 years, my 6th and 7th grade year in middle school. I've danced my 7th grade year, and I've cheered my 8th grade year. And this year, I am on JV basketball squad for cheering, and I am on football varsity.
Very good. Now, what made you decide to want to be a cheerleader?
Because I like it. It's more, I just like it.
Yeah.
Love it.
What things have been kind of challenging for you?
Yeah.
You've been handling it okay?
Yeah, I've been handling it okay. Just trying to learn how to flip and stuff is kind of hard.
Yeah. I used to practice on the trampoline. And so, tell us about how your experience has been with football as a cheerleader.
It's fun, but I love cheering for basketball more because it's more interesting. It's hype. Just love.
And you're pretty hype. So we have a lot to look forward to when we see you out there on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Nice to meet you, darling. Good to see you. Well, Chastiana, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Tell us about your career.
I started cheerleading when I was in the 1st grade, and I've been enjoying it ever since.
The 1st grade.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, can you remember any of your coaches?
Not really, but I remember my coach from middle school. Her name is Miss Lakia Rozier.
Yes, my little cousin. She's very good. Now, what things have you learned from middle school that's really helped you in high school?
Learning how to tumble. I started trying to tumble when I was in elementary, but I didn't really get it till I was in middle school.
What big differences do you see now that you've gotten older?
It's since I was getting older, it's tumbling got more advanced. A back handspring is not good enough.
Good enough.
I need to be doing round off back handspring tucks, standing tucks.
And what kind of stuff do you do outside of cheering with these girls to get yourself ready for this?
Not that much.
Not that much. And what other things you're involved in?
I'm involved in tennis.
You're a tennis player. Very good. Now, all these movies you see on television coming out about cheerleaders. Bring It On probably has four of those. What do you think about when you see movies about cheerleaders and the kind of, the persona that they have for cheerleaders? What do you think about that?
I don't really like it because in movies they describe cheerleaders as more mean.
Mean girls?
Yes.
Mean girls? Yeah. And so you're setting the tone of something different, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, very good. We're proud of you.
Thank you.
Chastiana. Well, hi. How are you?
Good.
Good to see you. Is it good to see me?
Yes.
All right. Tell us about things that you've been involved in, and tell us about your career as a cheerleader.
My name is Janiyah Webb, and this is my first year as a cheerleader. In 7th and 8th grade, I ran track, and in 8th grade, I was a dancer.
Very good. So you were already rhythmic. So what made you decide to want to be a cheerleader? Or was there someone that influenced you?
I really don't know. My friends just was doing it, so I just tried out.
So you just
And
saw
I
your
made
friends? That's good, because a lot of people don't make it. Now tell us what you think makes a good cheerleader. What qualities?
Leadership.
Now, do you consider yourself a leader? You working on it?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yes. I've had you in class. I've seen that. Well, we're so proud of you, okay? Keep doing great things. Thank you. These young ladies right here. Well. How are you today?
Good.
Talk to us.
My name is Ayana. I started cheering my 6th grade year, my 7th and 8th grade year, and I was doing competition in football and basketball.
What's the difference in those? Help us to understand what the difference is in the type cheering.
Competition is hard and it's fun. And football is fun too. And then basketball, that's the best one.
Why is that? Not because that's my favorite sport or anything.
'Cause you get to battle.
You get to wait a minute. Tell us about this battling. So one cheerleading side is saying whatever, chanting.
Like going back and forth.
Going back and forth. You love that, don't you?
Yep.
And tell us about your experience with competition cheer. What does that entail? we know you're competing. And so, and we know that, you know, you have to be at a certain level to be able to do competition cheer. So what things do you all have to do when you're doing that?
Stunting, you got to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be lazy.
Yeah. What makes you a good cheerleader? Yeah, because I ask these questions is because when you're an athlete, okay, you always have to know your qualities that make you good at what you do. And you also want to know and have to be able to know the areas that you yourself have to work on in order to be at a certain level, right? So what things do you find yourself having to work on?
Tumbling. Jumps.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's it. You've mastered the other stuff, haven't you? All right,
Yes.
very good. Good to see you, okay?
Okay.
Ayana, ladies and gentlemen.
Discover the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica. Well-qualified current lessees of competitive minivans get an ultra-low mileage lease on the 2017 Pacifica for $249 a month.
See Dublin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram at 2050 Highway 441 South in Dublin. Call 272-3500, 1-800-GO-DODGE, or log on to DublinChrysler.com.
Well, hey, sweetie, how are you?
Good.
All right, the floor is yours.
My name's Jaquavia. I cheered in elementary, and I cheered my 8th grade year of middle school.
Did you? And what grade are you now?
9th.
9th grade. And so tell us about people. Do you know other cheerleaders that you kind of looked up to as you were growing up?
Not really.
So what made you decide to want to be a cheerleader?
Cause I did dance, but that wasn't working. I can dance, but it wasn't working out. So I just tried a new sport.
Mm-hmm. And what about competition cheer? Do you ever do that?
Yes.
You do. Very good. And so, listen, you know, we were talking about how I remember at one point when cheerleading actually became identified as a sport. Okay. And so, what are the qualities that make someone a good athlete?
I mean, like, to be a good athlete, you just gotta be dedicated to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to be dedicated. And I think that when you're dedicated, it'll show throughout what you produce. Yeah. What other things do you do?
I run track. I play soccer.
Do you? Now, which one is your main sport out of these three?
Track.
Track. And what do you compete in at track?
I do 4x4 relay, and I forgot the other ones.
You're pretty fast then, right? Very good. All right, good to meet you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Easy on in here, Miss Jazz. Come on in. How are you?
Good.
Now, before I even knew you, I had heard about your tumbling skills. Yes, and then I remember seeing you one day turn cartwheels like unbelievable. How did you get to that level?
I practice.
Yeah? And tell us about your family, if you would. Talk to us.
What you mean?
Tell us who your family is.
Kiana Jones, Kalisha Jones, Benny Jones.
And so your sister is one of the cheerleaders here as well. Now, what things do you do outside of cheerleading?
Track, soccer.
Yes. And so you've always been an athlete. Is there anyone in your family that you kind of model after? No one? You're creating your own path? And what do you like most about being a cheerleader?
It's competitive. You get to do more things.
Yeah. And what have you found to be some of the challenges of being a cheerleader?
You get like more time to practice and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Is that a challenge for you? All right. And so where do you see your future as a cheerleader? Do you think this is something that you want to continue to do?
I mean, I will.
You. All right. Thank you. Any last words, Jasmine? Thank you. This is Jasmine Jones, ladies and gentlemen. Carnaya, it feels good to seem this tall. How are you down there?
Good.
Tell us all about you, your family. Tell us about things that you are involved in, okay?
Okay. My name is Carnaya Austin. I've been cheering since 7th grade. Yeah.
Tell us who your family is.
My dad is Carl Austin. My mom is Angie Wright.
And so what other things do you like to do? Like outside of cheering, what do you like to do for fun?
Well, outside of cheerleading, I like to draw.
You're an artist.
Somewhat.
And I think you're a dancer too.
Well, that didn't work. That didn't work.
And so, okay, now, we've been talking about, the girls' experience as a cheerleader. How is it for you with having a coach like Miss Harris?
Well, it's good.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
it's good.
what things have you learned? Like, what areas have you gotten better in as a cheerleader?
I've gotten better with my motions and with my jumps.
With your jumps. I've seen you jump too. And so if you could give a message to some girls out there to kind of encourage them to try out for cheerleading, what would you tell them and why?
Okay, I would tell them to just try their best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, you try your best. You can't go wrong with that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Carnaya, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Lord have mercy. Samasha, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Tell us about you.
Well, I'm a sophomore. My mother is Erica Jones. My father, James Sims. I run track. I play soccer. I'm a varsity basketball cheerleader and a varsity football cheerleader. And
you're all around awesome. Now, tell us about, when you transitioned from middle school to high school, was that a difficult transition for you?
No, ma'am, because Miss Rozier, the cheerleading coach at the middle school, she kind of, like, the way she trains us, it gets us prepared for the high school cheerleading.
Yeah. I've often told her that, Samaje, because just seeing her and how she worked with you all at such a young age, and the things that you were doing, I'd seen some of that stuff at college level. It was like unbelievable, the things that you learned in middle school. And so because you've had that experience, in what ways are you influencing the other girls to become better cheerleaders?
Well, don't believe like what you see on the movies and stuff, because cheering is harder than it looks.
Yeah. Well, in the movies, they just say you got to be pretty.
Pretty much.
And have a real nasty attitude. Yeah, so that's that stereotype that what they give. And so we're proud of the fact that you're setting an example that it's not about that you are absolutely athletes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Any last words for you?
No, ma'am.
No, hey, mama?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, Samaje. Good to see you, darling. This has been so sweet. Hi, Journey. How are you?
I am good.
Talk to us, darling.
I am an upcoming junior this school year, and I am a cheerleader. I've been a cheerleader for 8 years now.
8 years.
It's been long. It's been long.
How has this journey been for you, Journey?
It's actually been really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have a bubbly personality. Have you always been that way, or has cheerleading attributed to that?
Oh, cheerleading has made a big contribute to that, because I used to be very shy and quiet. Yes.
You're in front of thousands of people. Now, when you get out there getting ready to do a cheer or whatever, what kind of gets you motivated? Because you all are supposed to motivate us. What motivates you?
What motivates me is just being there, like motivating. Smiling, people smiling, people cheering for you, people saying, oh, they're those pretty cheerleaders and stuff like that. Yeah.
There's a lot of underclassmen that you cheer with, okay? And so what things do you see in them that you remembered about yourself?
Shyness.
Yeah.
Being quiet, standing back, watching the older cheerleaders.
A lot of girls look up to you all. Okay, when we see the younger cheerleaders, you see the little elementary cheerleaders, like little 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds, and they look up to you all. And so, to whom, much is given, much is required. To have that responsibility, what is it that you want little girls to know about you?
I would want them to know that I have a bubbly personality. Like, I'm just smiling all the time. You never see me with a frown on my face. You always see my smile.
That's right. And that smile lights up the room. Thank you, Journey.
Thank you.
Thank you. Look at all these names, Journey and Destiny. The parents have How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. Talk to us. Introduce yourself to everyone and let us know about some things that you're involved in and about how your career in cheerleading first started.
Hi, I'm Destiny Davis. I've been cheering since 6th grade, so that's about 5 years now. I'm also involved in soccer. I've been doing soccer for the past 2 years also.
Very nice. And so being an athlete in 2 different sports, okay, Who in your life is a big influence on you?
I have to say probably my stepbrother. He may not know it, but
He knows it now, doesn't he? In what ways?
He's just a very active person. He motivates me a lot, and he's just.
That's good. That's good. And to say about that about your brother is really special. And so, if you had to kind of measure, okay, your performance as a cheerleader, where would you put yourself? And tell us what areas that you feel you have to work on.
I'd probably, on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 7, 6 or 7. And I feel like I have to work on myself, as in motivating myself whenever it's time to, get out on the floor, cheer for the team, or do whatever it takes.
You guys always have to be high energy because we expect that of you. And so, is that a lot of pressure, you think, sometimes?
Yes, ma'am. It kind of.
Yeah.
It is, but I mean, at the end of the day, you just have to put it aside and do what you have to do to get over it.
Very good. And you've been doing it for a while, too.
Yes, ma'am.
We're very proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Destiny. Mary Shannon Potter. How are you? I just love saying your
good.
name, I think. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. I've seen you on the field and on numerous occasions. Talk to us, okay?
Well, I am a cheerleader, and I cheer just for football, and I'm also a soccer player.
Yes, seeing you on the field. Now, Mary Shannon, what kind of extracurricular things do you do outside of sports?
Well, I'm in numerous clubs, and then I'm really involved in my church.
And where do you go to church?
First United Methodist.
Very good. Now, do you sing too?
I do.
Does your mama sing?
Not really.
And listen, of course, we're now you guys are getting up in age, and so tell us, what is it about you that you think that a younger girl should be able to emulate, some positive things about you?
Well, I just try to keep positive, and no matter what's going on, I just try to keep a good attitude.
Yeah. Have you always been that way?
For the most part.
Yeah. And what areas have you seen yourself grow?
Well, with the struggling part, it's not always easy, but it's gotten easier to manage it. So.
And so what do you say to the people out there that says cheerleading is not a sport? It's just pretty girls out there with short skirts. I mean, you know how people talk. I mean, what would you say to people like that?
Well, competition is definitely a sport, no question about that. And then cheerleading, as overall, I say it was a sport because it does take guts to get out there.
Right.
And you could get hurt by a football player, a basketball player. No matter what you cheer for, you could get hurt either way.
And it does require a great deal of athleticism. It really does. Now, I remember they used to build the tiers. Y'all still build
the pyramids?
The pyramid, yes.
It's just a different type of pyramid now.
Y'all have evolved, haven't you?
We have.
And so what's next for you?
Well, I want to go to Georgia Southern when I graduate.
Do you?
I do.
Anyone else an Eagle?
Not really.
You just want to shoot out on your own, Georgia Southern.
I do.
Have you already thought about what you think you want to major in?
I want to become a pediatric surgeon.
Oh, my Lord. You're going to make all of us proud. Very good. It's always great to see you, and we're so proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Shannon.
Dublin's newest and most modern hotel is the Hampton Inn & Suites. Relax and enjoy your stay while near the best in dining, golf courses, and business centers. Start your day with a free hot breakfast. Enjoy our pool, indoor fitness center, and Wi-Fi. Plan your next family reunion, meeting, training session, or social gathering at Hampton Inn & Suites, 103 Travel Center, located by Longhorn and Cracker Barrel. Hampton Inn & Suites by Hilton.
Well, hey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
What grade are you in?
11.
All right, talk to us. Tell us all about you.
My name is Kiana Jones. I've been cheering since 2nd grade. My sister is a freshman, upcoming freshman.
Jasmine.
Yes. My brother goes to West Lawrence. My oldest sister is in the Navy. And my other sister is down here for the summer.
Wow, big family. Now, you've been cheering for quite some time, right? Did your mama just put you out there and say you're going to cheer?
I wanted to do it. I quit gymnastics to do cheer.
To do cheer. Why?
I guess it was just I wanted the experience, and I felt like I can do it.
And so what is it about you that makes you a good cheerleader, and what areas have you seen yourself grow?
I think my leadership skills make me a good cheerleader, and in areas that I can grow is just listening to other people, because sometimes I think I'm always right, or like my way is always the best way. Just listening to other people.
And that's very mature of you to be able to express that about yourself too. It really is. And you know, there's girls who do aspire to be cheerleaders, but they see different models or role models, and they see you all as role models, okay? And so could you give a message to the young ladies out there to encourage them to take part in cheerleading and why they should?
Just do it. I don't feel like there's no certain group of people that could be cheerleaders. I feel like if you want to do something bad enough, you'll work for it.
There you go. And you've been working for it for quite some time.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So now listen, you know, summer's almost over, right? So have you been able to do anything to relax?
No, ma'am.
Oh, Lord. You got a few weeks left. Anything you're going to do?
I want to go to Six Flags.
You told your parents?
I want to go to Six Flags.
Very good. Six Flags over Georgia. All right, good to see you, and we appreciate you. Thank you, darling. Well, double trouble. We got the seniors with us. How are you girls?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. It's always a pleasure to see you two, and I admire you very much. So we want you to kind of talk to everybody out there, share with us about things that you are involved in, your family, and about your experience as a cheerleader, okay?
Hi, my name is Jaden Moore. I'm a senior at Dublin High School. My mother's name is Barbara Parker, and my father's name is Jerome Moore, but most people know him as JJ, so if you've gone out, you know who he is.
Yeah.
I have cheered with Dublin High School all 4 years, only football, and I'm on yearbook staff at Dublin High School, and I'm also a company member at Fancy Dancer, and I've done that for quite some time.
Quite some time.
Yes.
How big of influence do you think that being a dancer helps you with being a cheerleader?
So it has so much influence. It definitely, I could catch on a lot faster because of how Abby teaches and like all the classes. It helped me catch on to the motions because they're very different, but at the same time they're very similar. So having that dance background definitely helped a lot.
It does. So you could definitely do choreography quite well.
Yeah.
I did it once in a show. Oh, Lord.
It's not for everybody. I still even struggle.
Yeah, I think that you have to really have a gift to be able to do that, to learn your choreography and to nail it every time. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Talk to us.
Well, my name is Mason Spitzmiller. I am a football cheerleader at Dublin High School, and I also do soccer. That's my main sport in the winter and the spring, and cheerleading is in the fall. I'm in Beta Club, Student Council, Yearbook, and I'm very involved in church.
Very good. Where do you go to church?
Christ Chapel, Dublin.
Very good. Now listen, we talk about leadership a lot. We talk about how important it is for the older you are, the more mature you should be.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so tell us in ways that you've matured when you first started out as an athlete or as a student and to where you are today.
Well, when I first started in sports, like I was like very shy. Like I didn't really know like what to say or how to act. But then like I saw like the older girls and how they acted, and I was like, I should probably start learning how to do that. So I did, and I just gotten involved like that.
And you're the captain.
I
all right,
am.
so you're the one that they go to.
Yeah.
And you're the one that, you know, when Ms. Harris says, you know, they need to do this, you're the one that has to get them ship-shop. How's that been? A lot of girls.
It's been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeping it real, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been.
Because think about it. I mean, as girls, we have our own, you know, personalities.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we can be here and here within 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds.
Very true.
And so when you're having to be a leader to your peers, it can sometimes be a challenge.
Right.
Yeah, it could be a challenge. And so listen, all right, you're the 2 seniors that are here. Wow, how does that feel for you?
I thought it would never come. it went by fast, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it went by so slow.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I'm excited. It's bittersweet, but I'm ready for the next chapter.
Yeah, I mean, this year is going to be very important for you guys. I mean, you know, making those sound decisions about your future. You know, so you kind of nailing it down a little bit. You kind of.
Well, I've thought about going to Georgia Southern partly because of their nursing program. I want to become a children's nurse ultimately when I grow up because I feel like I'm really good with children. I've been told I'm really good with children, so that's ultimately what I want to do.
What about you?
Well, right now I am between Georgia Southern or Kennesaw. I want to go to school for management, but have an emphasis in human resources because I think that would fit me perfectly. And it's just like being the equilibrium between corporate and employees. I think I'd be really good at that.
I think you will. I mean, I've got my undergraduate in business management, double majored in marketing. And, you know, it's like once you kind of first start college, you know, you're kind of feeling your way through. You know, you're taking your core courses. And it's like that second year, you know, when you start really having to nail it down, that's when you're really going to know that that that's your passion, that you want to do that.
Right.
Well, listen, girls, we want you two to give a message to these young ladies right here, young ladies right there, you know, because we know where you first started. We know how you have grown and matured in areas, okay? And so give a message to the young girls that look up to you, okay?
Okay.
Encourage them. Who wants to go first?
Mason.
Okay. Well then,
All right.
really all I can say is don't worry about what you see other people doing. Like if that's not what you want to do, then don't do it. Like you do you, and you focus on your future and how you want to like live life. And if that's you, then do you.
That's it.
Kind of piggybacking what she said, just be yourself and don't worry too much about what other people think about you, and just focus on how you want your future to go, and don't be afraid to make decisions that you know at the end will benefit you. And only you. Don't worry about other people, and you'll be fine.
Love that. Spoken like a true champ. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's been such an honor to be able to meet these young ladies, just to hear the maturity in the way that they speak, you know, to talk about the areas that they have grown in, the areas they yet need to grow. We're so proud and pleased that you're representing not just Dublin High School, but you are representing this community every time you are out there on that field and on that court. So we wish and pray nothing but the best for all of you.
Thank you.
All right, the Dublin High School cheerleaders, ladies and gentlemen.